Alrighty, hello, welcome everyone. 2025 US Championships round 3 currently underway. We're actually picking up right in the middle of the round. Hope everyone is doing good. And we can see actually this game here is already over between Wonder Liang and Fabi. It looks like they drew. Not too quickly, we're about 2 hours into the games. But this is a pretty big game for the standings because Fabi is one of the leaders in the Open. So actually I haven't seen much of this game. I knew it was C3 Sicilian, but I didn't quite see what took place here. So let's take a look. Hello, Pure. We are just getting started. Hello, Alexander. Grandmaster Gifts. How are you? Welcome, everyone. Welcome. So I wonder goes for C3 Sicilian, which isn't considered so dangerous, but is pretty safe option for whites. Looks like he was well prepared here. So was Fabi as he gets into this endgame, which I think is relatively safe for black. It looks like Fabi and the Wonder were able to kind of get to draw an endgame pretty quickly. Okay, so drawing this one, so far I think 3 draws for a Wonder. Very solid start. He's drawn with Mishra, Levon, and Fabi. Fabi, of course, survived that scare yesterday against Andy Woodward. Draws today with black. So he's got 2 out of 3. And importantly, Wesley So I saw had a very interesting position against Sam Shanklin. So this one is pretty promising for Wesley from what I could see. Black's king here pretty weak, and white having kind of nice structure, easy targets. Let's see what happened here. This was a Caro-Kann. Looks like Sam, he played Caro-Kann in round 1 against Sam Sevian. Now he's playing Caro-Kann again against Wesley. So he's looks like sticking to the Caro. Wesley goes for advanced variation H4 and C4. Okay, we were looking at this one recently. Takes. Sam normally pretty well prepared. F4. Oh, wow. So black castled queenside, and white immediately starts attacking. B4, B5, knight G4. Takes on C6. Queen C1. So very shaky position for black because it feels like king is kind of loose. And white's king, on the other hand, is perfectly safe for the moment. So bishop G5. And yeah, it feels like Wesley has been conducting very nice positional games so far. So Wesley seems to be in good form. He's on +1. He's leading the section along with Fabi so far. Because he beat Ray yesterday with black. Ray unfortunately kind of messed up. But yeah, knight f4 looks very logical. And Wesley here could be having potential to take the early lead if he wins this game. Are they still playing on other boards? Indeed. We're just getting started here. So we saw the Wonder game against Fabi. This here is now the key game with Wesley against Sam, because if Wesley wins, he's going to overtake the lead. Let's see, we have Hans Niemann against Ray Robson. Battle of the names. And this looks like it was a Petrov defense. Let's go back, see what happened here. Hans so far 2 draws. Ray 1 draw, 1 loss. So Hans, solid start. He drew Wesley and he drew Grigory Oparin yesterday. Both games with black. So 2 draws with black for Hans, who started the event with 2 blacks, probably due to rigged pairings, you know. I'm just kidding. But he starts with 2 draws, very solid. And now he has his first white game against Ray Robson, who so far isn't having the best event. So this seems like an opportunity for Hans to try and score a full point. So he plays one of the more solid, I would say, but main lines still against Petrov. C4, knight C3. Here white has a little bit more space. He goes knight E5, bishop F4, rook B1, B6. Black challenges the space advantage. Queen E3, takes, rook B8. And now rook B4, just played by Hans. Rook B4, so lifting the rook up this way, inviting black to take and fix a structure, which I don't think Ray's going to do. But otherwise, potentially posturing to slide the rook over, something like rook F4. So maybe small advantage for white here, but I don't feel like it's much. White seems a little bit more active, but black is very solid. Black's structure is perfectly healthy, so I feel like black should be okay, but we'll see. Maybe Hans can still get some pressure here, but so far I don't think he has much. Wesley's position, though, looks extremely promising. I feel like Wesley's position looks very, very dangerous for black, but still very complicated. All the pieces on the board, you know, black goes rook d6, and how is white going to break through here? Okay, then we have Darius against Mishra. This one looks like it was Nimzo Indian. Oh yeah, look at that, E4. Rook on A2, this was a Nimzo. For sure. So started with C4 and transposes to Nimzo Indian. White goes E3, A3, takes, D6. So he's playing like the classic way of A3, but without Queen C2, this Fabi wrinkle that he introduced in round 1. Knight E2, Knight D7. Yeah, I saw this very interesting play from Mishra. He goes Knight D7 and then F5 in order to bring the knight back. And then Knight A5. Actually, it doesn't even bring the knight back. I think this one sometimes even goes to B6. Queen H4 first, F4. Okay, it does play Knight F6, Rook A2. So this game's super interesting. E4, Knight G4. Mishra really going for it, actually. Bishop A6. H3, Knight F6, takes, Rook F2. Mishra almost on a 70-game no losing streak, which is very, very impressive because he plays quite a bit. And yeah, he's been in great form lately. So Knight E3 now. Position looks very nice and active situation. You can pull this bishop back, put it on B7. So Mishra looking good. I don't know if he's necessarily better, but his position seems comfortable. Then it comes to E4. Darius, like Ray Robson, also gets into a lot of time trouble, so he is no stranger to playing on the increment. Okay, so this one could potentially get very, very spicy. I also want to check in with our youngster, Andy Woodward, who lost first game against Levon Aronian, very tough endgame, but then almost beat Fabi yesterday with black, so bounced back, showed that he is not to be trifled with. And today he's playing white against Oparin, Fabi's second. And he goes for Catalan. Oparin plays this line with bishop d6 and h6, and now b3, bishop b2, knight c3. And typical Catalan play here, knight d2, going for e4. Black plays bishop b4. So now if e4, black can probably take here and take on e4. And then white would have to win back the pawn, which maybe they can, but not such a big advantage for white there. So a3 instead, trying to get the bishop pair. Black drops back, e4. Takes, rook b8, rook e1. And generally here, black is trying to play for c5 to strike back in the center. But he goes knight f6 to trade pieces. Trade. Queen d8, goes back, b4. And white has managed to prevent c5. So it feels like white is a little bit better here due to the space advantage, but probably not much at all. Because black, of course, has traded off a bunch of minor pieces, and now, yeah. It's only a space advantage if the opponent's pieces feel cramped, which they don't. All of black's pieces have decent squares. Bishop can sit on f8. Rooks can shuffle along like d file, 8th and 7th rank. Queen has a lot of squares. But white still maybe has some advantage, like because you can play rook a1 and even I would say there are ideas of tripling on the a file. Triple stack. And then you take on b5, and then black will have to cede the a file. So it's nice that white is the one that has the pressure here. Because if black ever takes on one of these pawns, which they can take on c4, but it's not ideal because they're left with some weaknesses. Whereas white doesn't really have to take on b5, they can just wait until they've built up. So if Andy manages to triple stack on the a file here, then that would force black to relieve some of the tension, because ab5 and rook a7 I think would be pretty annoying threat. So some potential here for Andy. I think he's definitely better. I would always take white here, but I feel like Oparn is probably gonna defend. Oh, and then we have the Armenian Derby, guys. Sevian against Aronian. Let's go back. Curious what this opening was. This was also Nimzo. So Nimzo coming back in fashion. A lot of Nimzos today. d5, knight e4, queen d4. Okay, I don't know this line at all. Queen f6. Levon playing some tricky stuff. Some opening tactics here. Takes bishop d2 with the pin, so white is going to win the piece back. Guys, if you have questions, feel free to ask. b4. Knight a4. Very funny. Position take. So basically white wins the piece back here with some theatrics. Black took back the pawn. And now they got this endgame where white has two bishops, but his structure is definitely weak. Black played b6. And the endgame has been developing. To me, it feels like black's position is very, very solid. Generally with the two bishops, you're looking for like a flexible structure where things are open. Here, white has a lot of like fixed weaknesses, and it seems like black is just very, very solid on the dark squares. Like he's given up the dark squared bishop, and as a result, now his light squared bishop is quite a good piece. It's very solid. He's got pawns on the dark squares. King is on a dark square, so it feels like, yeah, his rook can come to b8 at some point. Actually, I mean, okay, f5 is weak, so I don't think black can really entertain trading. But if he plays king e7, then maybe he is ready to take, go king f6, bring the rook to a8. A pawn will be weak, and yeah, I feel like I would honestly rather have black here a little bit in this position. Levon also up on the clock. So Levon so far doing well. He won the first game against Andy. Yesterday he made a draw against, I think, Wonder. And yeah, today maybe he can score another endgame win against Sevian. So, you know, Fabi, of course, I was saying the first day is like a bit of a favorite in the event just because he's the #1 seed. But so far, Wesley playing well, Levon playing well, you know, could be very, very competitive tournament here. Okay, guys, you let me know which game you want to follow. Oh, some changes with Hans. Looks like we had takes, rook b4, a5. Trades. So Ray forcing the trades with a5. And now white comes in with queen e7. Feels like some pressure here, but don't really think it's enough for white to, yeah, claim a big advantage or anything. Feels like black should be okay. Maybe queen c8, bishop e6, something like that. And then just kind of hold. Okay, let's go back to Wesley's game. This one I feel like Ray should hold. Wesley's game, though, just got very interesting, it seems. So here, knight f4. Shanklin did not want to go rook d6. Maybe just like rook e1 and e6 is falling anyway. So he goes for e5. Trying to trade off the weakness. If de, maybe just queen takes. But knight e6. Takes. Rook takes d4. So black is just taking a pawn here, but what's happening? White has it's a nice initiative. Maybe he's going to go knight e2. Maybe rook takes d4, knight e2. Then black might have c5. What's Wesley going to do here? Take, knight e4. c5. Take. Okay, I'm just kind of thinking here. Maybe takes here. Knight e4, trying to hit this one and hit this one as well. c5. And I thought maybe take this one, but I don't know. Maybe you don't have to. Maybe like queen f4. Just kind of start using some of these diagonals that are open against the black king. This starts to feel very, very scary for black. Like these pawns, they don't really move that quickly. And white's going to land on this diagonal fast. Light square bishop is around. Maybe takes knight e4 is interesting. Can also play knight e2. Rook d1, queen d1. 24 minutes for Wesley, but it's one of those positions where, he kind of has to go for the kill. So we're about to see a very aggressive Wesley here, I think. Bloodthirsty. Okay, I'm just going to check how the women are doing here on the side. Folks, are there any games you're interested in? You let me know. Oh boy. Nazi sacrificed a piece against Tatev. That one is looking very scary. Oh boy. Let's see, we have Irina Krush playing against Rose Atwell. That position looks interesting. Jennifer Yu against Anna Sargisian. That one looks interesting, actually. Pretty interesting on the commerce side. Let's see, Carissa Yip against Anna Zatonsky. Also a big matchup there. Still looks pretty equal so far. Yeah, I'll show this piece sacrifice in the women's event. Actually, really looks very dangerous. Here, I was following this game earlier. So this is Nazi against Tatev. This was King's Indian. H3. Very topical line. And they got this closed position. And this is where the game, I think, starts getting very sharp. So we have this closed situation. Castles, knight e2, knight c5, and now white played knight g3. And I think already here she's actually intending to sacrifice on h5, which would be very scary because you just take twice and you pull the queen back and you just start running h5, and the position's so locked up, black doesn't really have a lot they can do against this pawn storm. So black play bishop g4 to avoid this. Bishop e2, trades, a4, castles, a3, c6 starts getting counterplay. But now knight d1, which to me looks like a very nice move. Knight e3, and now white is intending to just plop a knight on f5. Because then if it takes, you have ef, queen takes h5, it just looks extremely dangerous. Knight takes h5 as well, f6. So black played f6, and then knight f5 anyway came. And now takes and g6 on the board. Oh boy. So this one is very, very sharp. And white's just basically just playing for checkmate. She just wants queen h5, queen h7, knight f5, and GG. Wow. So on knight f5, I just want to check if black had to take. It's difficult to let this knight live on f5, but maybe it was possible for black to play queen c7. Oh, no. What am I saying? Knight is hanging. So, hold on. Maybe rook d8, but yeah, that's not And you also have to deal with like knight e7 check and knight takes g6. Yeah, so you have to take this knight because on rook d8 check and knight takes g6 is game over. If takes, it's just mate. And if you can't take the knight, well, h5 is falling. So yeah, so taking the knight was forced. And now, I mean, my first instinct actually would have been to just recapture something, either here, here, here. One of these three moves, knight f5, queen h5, ef. But g6 is very, very bold, not allowing black to play fg. And now just playing for mate, which admittedly looks very, very difficult to stop. So if f4, knight f5. And just for example, let's say rook d8, queen takes here, king here, queen h7, rook d7. So I think there would be different ways to win here. Like maybe h5 is winning. Maybe you can even play f3 and you're winning. Like black's position is very, very rough. But I think this is just a direct win here with knight g7 and check, and then takes, and then you're losing both rooks here as black. So yeah, big problem is like you can't bring the queen back to defend something like this because, among other things, just the knight on b4 is hanging. So if white can just win the piece back, then they haven't even they're up material now. And h5 h6 is just a huge threat. h5 here might just be completely winning. So yeah, this is looking really scary for black here. Oh boy. If she finds some way to survive here, I mean, it would be tremendous. But I don't see one. I would expect it's just winning for white. I mean, I guess you can maybe try to give give the rook back with rook f7, and then you're only down the exchange. But the problem is kingside is still kind of collapsing. I guess I would also consider like taking here, takes. Let's say here now, but I don't think it's ever gonna work. Just this knight on f5 is just way too strong. So yeah, Nazi here playing amazing game. Knight f5 and g6. So that's pretty unfortunate for Tadev. Checking out other games here. Okay, other games still very much developing. Wesley still thinking. And okay, actually some updates in Han's game. But that one, guys, that one looked good for White. I think White's winning that. I mean, very nice piece sacrifice. Just thematic too. Okay, this is the Han's endgame. So Queen e7, Queen c8, h3. Han's trying to just squeeze a little bit here and is able to get check and take this pawn. And now he takes a2. Robson snags on a2 and threatens to take on f2. If you can take this pawn, then it's very hard for White to... Well, I was going to say it's very hard for White to cover the checks, but actually no, he keeps his queen on this diagonal. So this one is very unclear still, because White's c-pawn is quite strong. So yeah, this could be some chances for Hans. Folks, I have to be back in just a moment, but I'll leave it on this game. We'll see you in just a bit. Exciting stuff ahead. Okay, let's see what's happening here. So Neiman Robson, Queen c4, c6, a4. Now I expect he's going to push. Black will push. d7, a2, check. So that line would be winning for White. That kind of basic line. Push. Oh no, but hold on. Okay. So very important. On Queen d7, Black saves with Queen f4 check. Right? So here Black has an immediate draw. So this diagonal is very important. If Black were to push, then White would win with this check, forcing the king to the back rank where you can promote with check. If g6, then take and bring the queen around this way and push. But indeed, this queen f4 is saving very importantly. So c7 on the board, a3 on the board. And this is where Hans needs a really good move. Which I don't see. I don't see. But he needs, if he could find a really good move here, he might have some winning chances. But otherwise, if he just takes and allows this, then that's a dead draw. They can shake hands. And if he doesn't take, then of course, black is promoting. And any kind of queen advancing, it's queen f4. So, not sure. Not sure what's going on. Cal Sagebear, thanks for subscribing. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. We really do appreciate it. It's not easy to keep the lights on and provide quality chess entertainment / educational content for the masses. Noman says, I hope Hans gets into candidates. It will be so boring without Hans. Yeah, Hans is an exciting player, I would agree, but definitely I don't think it would be boring without him. Candidates is interesting in its own right because so much is on the line. Okay, Hans, most interesting player on the circuit, just take. So we're going to see draw here. Let's go to Wesley. Wesley now has big chances, I thought, against Shanklin. So we had this here, takes, rook d4. He traded and he goes knight e2. I thought maybe knight e4 was interesting. But he decides on knight e2, hitting this and this. Expected move was c5, but Sam goes queen c5. And now it's up to Wesley to prove compensation for his pawn. But I don't think it's going to be in the endgame. I think he's going to play some queen move followed by rook c1. What about queen e5 and Hans Robson? We can go back just briefly. I assume you mean here. To try to give check and do this one. So queen e5. Maybe black would have to go g6. And then it's hard to attack this one without giving up control of one of these two squares. I think black is still okay here. Knight b5 looked interesting. Yeah, indeed. Not sure what would happen here. Maybe cb? Check. Oops. Here, takes. Oh, you can't take. Hold on. What I'm saying. So, check, rook d7. Bishop c8 maybe, something like this. Yeah, very complicated. I'm not sure what's happening here. Maybe it's not more than a draw, though. Okay, we have moves. e5 played. So allowing black to trade queens, but then rook c1, he would have a double attack. So Shanklin just goes knight d5 quickly. So Wesley, you're not quite so focused on mating the king. He's happy to play an endgame as well, where if he can win back one of his pawns, you know, he's likely to win back the second pawn. So actually Wesley, he's a very fine technician, you know, very, very good at endgames. Very, very good. So I feel like he's sniffing out like an endgame advantage here where, again, if he wins back one of these pawns, he's probably going to win the other one. And then his pieces are very strong to deal with. Eventually he wins g-pawn, he wins h-pawn, he's 3 pawns up on the king side. You win like that. You win like that. Mm. Ooh, knight d4. Okay, he wins a pawn immediately. Very nice. Very nice. Have to say if takes, then takes. Rook b1. Knight b4. No, what'd he do? What would he do? Maybe a6? Maybe rook b1, knight b4, take a6, something like this. And here? Not sure. Okay, knight c3 played. Bishop e3. These guys playing pretty quickly. Bishop e3, nice move though. So white's won his pawn back, and now black has this weakness, he has this weakness. Light squared bishop is an absolute beast on bishop h3, bishop g2. And it's game over. Almost. Almost. What's going on Han's game? Han's, I think, is draw, right? Hold on. Maybe you guys are seeing different position, but this is position I have. This should be dead draw in Han's game, guys. Draw. Draw is when both sides get half a point each. So that's what's going to happen here, most likely. Wesley chose the hard way for some reason. Yeah, well, you know, the players, they don't have access to the, you guys know how, like, when you're watching chess, there's, like, it tells you, like, what the best moves are? They don't have that next to them. So they're actually just seeing just the board. And they don't really have any, they don't even have the eval bar, actually. Not many people know this. The players don't have eval bar either. They just have physical pieces, and then it's up to them that they decide what move to make. So generally they're very good, but sometimes they don't. Sometimes they don't get it right. Big if true. Okay, I see. Octopus Rod, I think he's behind on the. So he's watching from before, and then he's commenting in real time, like he's responding to stuff. I think I understand now from the YouTube chat. So, okay, chat's pointing out black could take here, go knight e2 check. Yeah, I like this endgame for white, I think. I think for white, I like it. To me, it looks like really nice winning chances for white. Now, of course, I'm not a computer, but neither is Wesley, neither is Sam, actually. So, yeah, you got to be careful. Whenever you're watching a game with the computer, it like really feels like things are obvious, but yeah, they're not. I would just, you know, I would invite, I'm sure you've played chess before and you know how like not obvious. I'm sure anyone that's played chess knows like it's like such a difficult game. So try to put yourself in the, yeah, in the shoes of the players. Like they also don't have the engine, you know, next. Okay, so bishop e3, Sam thinking. It's interesting that he's thinking, you know, normally you would just look what the best move is and then just play it, right? Because it's so obvious. But no, actually, he has to consider different ideas here, guys. He has to consider different ideas. But this is a very, very big game because Fabio already drew. And so if Wesley wins this, then he takes clear lead. Mishra position also looking very spicy. Woodward against Oparin just blew up with this a5 move. And Sevian Aronian also very Very complicated, actually. Sevian there, maybe putting some pressure. Okay, let's stick with this one though, because this one is very hot. It does seem very bad for Sam. Knight b3 for white. Yeah, maybe white's next move might be knight b3. But black, okay, just played rook d8. So knight b3 here is possible, but knight e2 check is there. So knight b3 allows knight e2. Bishop h3, bishop g2 seems like a nice repositioning, absolutely. But right now, okay, rook d4 is a big threat. Rook d4, knight e2 check. So Wesley here needs to find some... But if queen d2, black can take twice on d4. And then have two pieces for the rook and be very happy. So Wesley needs some good move here. Yeah, I agree, Sushan. It looks very nice for white, but it's still very concrete. So if white doesn't find a good move, black is about to take on d4 and get two pieces. So the evaluation very much depends on if white can find a solution to this problemo. Maybe we can get away with knight b3 and go for the endgame. Now it's time to reconsider knight b3. If queen f1, I'm worried about just rook d4. Right, just taking the two pieces. So maybe knight b3, knight e2, knight c1, knight c5. Actually, that looks quite okay for white. Here, black has no checks. And this looks like nice endgame for white. Bishop pair. Here, this is where we can kind of maybe stop and evaluate, because it feels like white is going to have a concrete advantage. Someone tell Octopus Rod in the YouTube chat that they're, I think they're commenting on, they're watching on a delay and they're commenting in real time. So they're not, it doesn't make any sense. It's like they're commenting on a live stream, but they're essentially watching a past YouTube video. Maybe each has guidance, maybe. So the idea was queen f1, rook d4, take queen a6, and bishop c8. Knight e2 check there. Trying to take rook on a1. Okay, very concrete actually. I have no idea. No idea. It's very, very complicated. Knight b3 feels like safe move. But knight b3, maybe there's queen e5. You know, there's tricks abound in the position. Bishop c4. Covering. Okay, I think we have a move. Queen f1 played. Oh. Queen f1. Chess guidance. Your move. So Wesley, he has the same idea. Queen a6. I thought it was too hard to calculate. Wesley says, not for me. Queen f1. Man, looks good. Looks good. So this is move 30. So they have about 10 moves to go before time control. Exactly. Well, this is a big question for Sam. Sam has his work cut out for him. I'm just keeping an eye on other games, guys. I don't know if anything else decisive is happening. So he has this queen g2 in the position. What was it here? Yeah, going for the kill. What about knight b5? Knight b5? We take it. That feels like at least a safe advantage for white. Okay, so I think white's idea here is to go queen a6. If queen d6, then bishop c8. Queen c7, though. And the rook needs to get in somehow. Maybe rook c1, but black can stabilize. Knight d5. So maybe this is not so easy. But queen d6, there's check. And then take this, and then take this. And that's game over. That's game over. Guys, someone please tell Octopus Rod in the YouTube chat that they are responding to the past. They're not communicating with reality. That they need to catch up to the live feed if they want to contribute to the chat. If they want to participate. I think they're in the chat, but they're not, they're not going to hear this. I think they're about, based on the lines they're responding to, I feel like they're about 10 minutes behind. And I feel bad because they're asking questions. And okay, maybe they'll get to this moment and they'll figure out. Sam, he am. Thank you, ABC. Thank you so much. Alrighty. 3. So the idea is that if black plays rook d4, white's trading, going queen a6 with threats. Threats galore. And it's difficult for black to defend here because queen c5, you get checkmated. That's checkmate. King has no moves, actually. So that's end of the game. They would shake hands and sign the score sheets. And there wouldn't be anything black could do about it. Queen d6, then check, and takes here, and takes here. And then white's up a clean exchange, and black is soon going to perish. So I don't think black can take on d4. But what to do? Maybe knight d5? What happens on knight d5? Can you go queen a6, knight e3, bishop c8? Turning checkmate? Here we take on c6. Wow, could this be the idea? Oh, what about knight e2 in that line? Yes, that knight e2 actually was an important detail. So black can take, go knight e2 check here. And then I think we're ignoring this one somehow. But how? King g2, queen e4. King f1? Is Wesley So a sick genius? Queen takes a1 check. No, this doesn't work. This doesn't work. Because here there's check and here. And if here there's this check, and then mate, or here, and then here, it feels like it's not working for white. Black is always taking back and defending. Hold on. Okay, knight d5 on the board, and then he took here instead of queen a6, which I thought was interesting. So he takes, queen d5, queen a6. Okay, so Wesley's still going for the kill here. So yeah, actually, let's figure this out. Why not take? He did want queen a6, I presume. Rook d4. Maybe here rook d4, queen a6. Maybe rook d4, queen a6, guys. Threatening mate. Knight d7, we take it. No defense here, huh? Wow, maybe that was the idea. So knight d5 takes. Queen a6 on the board. Wesley So strong. Okay, let me see. Andy Andy doing okay. Sevian also okay. Bishop c5. I'm trying to defend here, but king is weak. King is weak, although black is very active and pieces have been traded off. He's got this pressure. He's got knight e2 check. He's got this one. So I don't know how much Wesley is winning here. Definitely feels better for white, but yeah, I don't think he's winning. Andy not doing okay? Oh. Looks like material's still equal there. Let's see. Rook c1. Oh, wait. No, he's down a pawn. He's down a pawn, but it's kind of tough. So maybe black can try to squeeze a bit here. But not easy. Not easy. Queen f1, very high level move. Oh, rook d5. Oh, Oparin is a sick individual, huh? Rook d5, rook d8, and then he's going to take. That is a problem. Rook d8, bishop a5, though. Okay, still complicated, but yeah, Oparin is good. Wesley. Okay, Wesley took on c6. I guess this was critical. I thought bishop takes e3, but then maybe just takes on d8, actually. Earning a checkmate. What was the eval if he had traded? Here, take. So can't take on e3, then knight d8. Rook c8. Take. Should be better for white. Looks like very healthy extra pawn. Just don't blunder knight e2 check. But yeah, should be better for white here. So he's playing for more. Actually, that's a very important question. He's playing for more with this knight c6. Okay, Sam took. And now can he take? Knight e2, queen e2. Bishop f2, king f2. I think he can take on d8 here. But maybe he can also take back. I mean, he has mate threat. Hello, Hayden. Doing good. How are you? Very big game here for Wesley. If he can win this, he takes the lead over everybody. Folks, I'll be right back. We'll watch this game play out. Okay, knight takes d8. Bishop f2, king f2. Now Wesley basically saying black has no draw. Because he can't take the knight here. It's queen c6, queen takes c3, you're down a rook. But what's Sam counting on? Queen d2 check. Knight e2. Very scary. Queen d2, king f3 maybe. Queen d5. Start walking this way. Walk this way. Yeah, I'm going to trust Wesley here. He probably calculated out to a win. So Wesley doing well here. Queen f5, Sam tries. What's he playing at? What if king g1? I mean, he can't really afford to give a quiet move here as black because white has too many mate threats. Queen b7, queen c6. So king g1? What's happening? King g1 played. Seems like Wesley's winning this one. Okay, king g2. Who am I rooting for? I'm rooting for a couple players. We got Ray Robson. Shanklin's a friend of the dojo. I always root for Levon. Andy Woodward, Mishra, Fabi. Oh, and it's over. It looks like Wesley just won. Guys, so Wesley taking the lead. U.S. Championship after two nice wins. One against Ray and one against Sam. Here Sam resigned because his checks run out. Queen d2 check. King h3. Queen d7 check. He can block with the knight or with the queen. And it's game over. So Wesley taking the lead. Two straight wins. Very nice game today against Sam. I mean, Sam played this pretty sharp Karo Khan. Advanced variation. Wesley came up with a C4 line, which is pretty interesting. And um, Sam went for this plan with castle's queenside, and Wesley just attacked him. A3, B4. So a very, very interesting approach from the opening here. Karo specialists will have to figure this out, because here Wesley was, I think, already doing well after this this move, bishop G5. Okay, let's see. We have Sweerts against Mishra. Here I thought Mishra was doing pretty well, but I feel like this is actually rather solid. Queen e6 offering the endgame. Maybe black is a bit better in the endgame, but I think white is okay. Andy, people were saying, is in trouble. Let's see here. So rook d5, he pushed. Rook d2 takes, and takes with the rook. If bishop takes d4, what's going on? Some tactic here. Rook takes in c3. Oh, apparent with the nasty stuff. If queen takes, then we trade queens, and bishop takes rook. And if rook c3, then bishop d4. And yeah, white can't get the piece back, it seems. Papagino with the confirmation. Thank you so much. Okay, so rook d4 takes, and okay, Andy found a nice way to play on here. At least he can hope for some dark square play, but he is down a lot of material. It's a rook and pawn for the bishop, so he has chances, but it doesn't look great. Queen d3 here, maybe just to kind of destabilize, hold on to the pawn. Rook to b7. Feels like Oparin should win this with proper technique. So it's going to be a tough one for Andy, unfortunately. Okay, Sevian against Aronian. This was very sharp endgame, like we saw it back here. I thought black was okay, but Sevian found this idea f4. Takes here. Bishop g2, f4. Takes rook g8. So Levon frisking it up. Sacrificing 2 pawns. Just like 2 pawns he just gave. But playing for activity, gets 1 pawn back. Gets 2 back. Now rook d4. This is live position. What do we make of this? So 1 minute, they're on move 34. So he'll make it. Yeah, this one feels like draw is very likely. Hard to see either side here having an advantage. White's got the 2 bishops, but black has pretty active rook, so I feel like black should be okay. Andy, though, Andy in some trouble. Queen b3 from Aparin. Queen a1. Oh, it's rook g4 move. I apologize. Rook g4. Try to trade the rooks. Yeah. And maybe black wants to trade the rooks because then you could say this a pawn will be kind of easier to target with the rooks off the board. I guess white could try rook d3. Oops. Things seem roughly equal still. Okay, Andy. So queen b3. He avoids the queen trade, which would be disaster. Now rook d8. And ooh, this is looking really bad because rook d1 check is coming. This might be game over. I guess he can try bishop h8, but then rook d1, king moves. Yeah, not so slow, right? I think rook d1 is coming coming pretty quickly. But what does black do on bishop h8? Rook d1, king h2, c3 maybe. Maybe just c3. So here, here, here. Looking for mate, but black can go c3. And then black is able to trade stuff off here and should win. Just winning material. So yeah, I think this one's over basically. I don't see it. Because rook d1 is coming, followed by takes. Second rook comes to d1. This pawn is gone. Yeah, Oparin maybe scoring his first win here against youngster Andy. Andy only good against the 2800 guys. Everyone below, he's still struggling, but against 2800 guys, he's good. So yeah, I think this one's kind of over. I don't really see how white can play on. Here, check, take. Just kind of too active for black. So it's getting to the point where I would convert it, you know, which is really bad. Okay, Darius, Mishra pretty equal. Sevi and Levon pretty equal. Yeah, let's stick with this one for now. The time is not such a huge factor here because white just doesn't have a move. Live feed for body language only St. Louis broadcast, but of course that's gonna come with spoilers. But I guess you don't really need a spoiler here to tell you black was winning. But Andy has very good attitude and mindset. So I'm sure he'll bounce back and he'll probably be scoring some wins in this tournament soon. Let's see if he manages to find some idea. I don't see anything so far. Rook b1. Okay, plays bishop f6. Rook b1, black takes. And wins. So bishop f6 played. Rook d1. Now I think, yeah, simplest is rook takes rook. Generally, when you have the exchange, you want to just trade rooks. Okay, goes c3 first. And now what does he want? Queen d5 check, huh? So queen c3, queen d5. f3. f3. How exactly does black play here? Because this b pawn definitely needs to get taken at some point. Oh, this one's still hanging. What happens if he takes the rook? Ah, queen d5. Okay. It's queen d5. Nasty. 15 seconds for Andy. You gotta make a move, Andy, move. Oh wait, it's move 40? Oh, it's move 42. Oh, my bad. Oh, they made time control. Oh, it's plenty of time. But how does black win here? Maybe this one. And then this one. Yeah, that's GG. So Zoom is saying queen c3, queen d5, queen f3. Oh, but just take here. Yeah, without trading. Because bishop d8 just queen d8. Okay, so it takes with the bishop. But now I would think this is good. Rook d3. Okay. Oparin decides he wants to win in style. It's a pretty sick move. If rook d1, white's queen is just stuck. So I think this one is way over. Now he's setting up queen d5 check. There's no f3. And queen h1 mates. Wow, what a move. So queen d5 is a massive threat. And if you take rook d1... Okay, so bishop e1. So I guess queen d5, he can go to the back rank. Should be winning for black. I mean, minimum he can trade and just take on b6. So check is rook d8. You can put the rook on d5. You can play queen d8 here as well. You can also move the king. Bishop c3, then rook d8 or queen d8. So yeah, now it's just technical win for black. I mean, rook and pawn against the bishop. Dark squares are weak, but should be able to defend everything on them. But Andy's still losing, right? I don't think he really defended. But now it's over, I think, because he wants check, queen a2, and he comes in. Yeah, Foos just this endgame probably winning. I was not wanting to go down long endgame. But let's just take a look because I think this game is over. Yeah, and he did resign, so Andy did lose that. So here. And yeah, basically if black's king comes around, then should be a technical win. But it's just like, okay, still have to be a little careful. White's king kind of inching forward. So I liked Oparin's approach. And yeah, that's it. So nice game for Grigory, tough game for Andy, but good experience, and I'm sure you'll bounce back. Okay, Darius Mishra, this one pretty drawish, I think. Black is totally fine. I'd probably rather take black because you can always offer trade of bishops. Knight is very good square on d5, but I feel like white should be solid enough. Then let's see, Sevian, Aronian, rook g5, rooks came off. This one, okay, maybe Levon is putting a little, squeezing a little juice out of this game, huh? I feel like only black can really be better here. But I would imagine white's probably okay. 95 check. But still maybe some questions for Sevian. Okay, bishop h3 it plays. Yeah, also very, very logical move. Getting on this diagonal, so bishop b3, there's knight d4. Or okay, you can just take here right away. So white looks to possibly trade. Black goes knight c4, and yeah, I feel like this should liquidate. On the women's side, Nazi Paikidze did won this game we saw earlier. Very nice piece sacrifice. Let's just see how this one finished out. So it was knight f5, g6, and yeah, black just didn't really have any saving grace here. Knight h6, e1, brings the knight back, h5, h6, and it was mate. So very nice game by Nazi there. Just want to see the other games in the women's side. Jennifer Yu up a piece against the leader, Anna Sargsyan. But this is a hard extra piece to realize. Although, definitely better for white. Black doesn't have 3 healthy pawns for the bishop. So definitely better for white, but not the easiest endgame to convert. Carissa Yip drew. Irina Crush against Rose. Whoa. Chaotic endgame here. Bishop f6. This is looking good for white. It feels like she's going to round up this pawn quickly and then 2 connected passers on the queen side. So unless black can drum up some immediate counterplay with rook and knight, this looks pretty good for white. And then we have rook endgame. Talia against Atusa. H1, rook h8. And this is live position. What do we think about this one? Rook h3. Rook h3 actually seems pretty killer. Endgame optically looks extremely nice for white because she has rook behind pass pawn. Rook h3 is a pretty very nifty move because what does black do? Actually, very instructive move from Talia. She just immediately puts black in Zugzwang. Rook can't move, and king has to go back. So now, like, maybe white could have won by playing this in here, but then it's more complicated. Black gets counterplay. So she starts with rook h3. That's very nice. And now I think it's just resigns, actually, because black has to give way with the king. And then white can just take and come here. Yeah, JW, I'm not sure about the pronunciation, but I think Tata was actually saying that it's the same last name between Anna and Gabriel, and I guess Shant as well. There's also a Shant Sargsyan. Um, they're also saying that Tata was also saying that actually Var Akobian and Vladimir Kopyan, they also have the same last name. It's just the B in Armenian, it resembles a P or something. Um, so so I think all the Sargissians have the same last name. Essentially, it's just something to do with the spelling. But this is killer. This is killer for white. I don't see a move for black other than going back, but then white can take. Oh, this is on the board. King d4. King g7. I mean, she could have played here as well. Because now, if the king moves, just takes on e5. If check, then she comes up and she has extra tempo, but decides just to come here. Well, actually, no, it would be the same. Here, check, here, here. This is the game position. So, king g7, takes, but now white is much faster, so it should be winning. King just comes back, rook comes down, and should be able to catch up. So king f6, king d4, can just give check now, and yeah, this is going to be resigns very soon. So Talia winning this one. Very nice rook end game here from Talia. Did Robson win? Excuse me. No, Robson drew, I think. Or still playing. No, Robson drew with Hans. Yeah, they drew. They had solid game. So Talia won. This one's over. Arena Crush, rook a7. She takes on d2. And again, we're going to get rook behind pass pawn here with rook b2 after rook takes a4. So Irina winning. And this position, very interesting, very important too for the women's side. If Jennifer can win this one, whole tournament now rooting for Jennifer to convert this because her opponent Anna is currently leading. But this is very hard. I would say a draw, I think, is more likely here than a win, but not much. Maybe it's like 60-40 draw or so. Why isn't David here for classical? David, I think just busy last couple days with the family, but I'm sure he'll be around soon enough. King, queen f4. So Jennifer offers the queen trade. Interesting question if black should trade queens, if she'll have better chances with the queens on the board or off the board. Hard to say, actually. Hard to say. I'm not sure there's obvious answer here. Okay, but queen e7 decides to keep the queens on. Maybe this is better because white's king has to deal with a little bit more grief. Whereas if you trade queens, then white can kind of just walk up and try to squeeze. Okay, we have a draw between Sevian and Aronian, this endgame. Kind of expected. Looks like they're repeated. That basically just leaves Sweerts and Mishra in the open. Okay, guys, I think that'll wrap it up for today's commentary. We'll raid St. Louis as usual, so you guys can check out the rest of the coverage there. And yeah, otherwise, I'll probably be back tomorrow. I am trying to do at least some coverage every day. Maybe not the whole round, but at least hop on for an hour or two, check out some games, hang out with chat, say hi to everyone. So yeah, I think that's gonna do it for today, as the round is kind of slowly wrapping up. Some interesting endgames though. So if you guys keep watching, hopefully you enjoy. Thank you, Mauve. Thank you, everyone, for all the nice comments. Always much appreciated. And yeah, hopefully you guys have a good rest of your day. Hope you get some chess in, get some reading in. Tell someone you care about that you like them, that they matter to you, um, and yeah, keep those chess dreams alive. All right, everyone, take care of yourselves. See you. See you.